You are listening to the Soul Spark with Kelly Collins podcast, where you'll gain the knowledge and confidence you need to find your purpose, live mindfully, and consciously create a life that feels balanced, flowing, and full of abundance. My name is Kelly Collins, and I am a yoga and mindfulness teacher and transformational coach. It is my mission to teach you how to spark your soul by tapping into your unique gifts and purpose, and to feel empowered to bring them into the world. Each week on this podcast, you'll hear a mixture of personal teachings, expert interviews, and content that will help you to create a lifestyle that fosters joy, inner peace, and fulfillment. So press play, sit back, and get ready to spark that fire in your soul, get lit up from the inside out, and shine your light out into the world. Hello, my loves. Welcome to the show. I hope wherever you are safe, you are happy, you are healthy, and you are well. And thank you for being here. Before we dive into today's main content, I have an announcement that I'm really excited to make. So the next Soul Spark Academy is officially going to be September 27th through November 1st. And registration for that is opening up on August 15th. And from August 15th to the 21st, I'm going to be doing a special sale. You'll get $333 off for the program if you sign up in that time. So if you're not familiar with the Soul Spark Academy, what it is a 6-week group coaching program that blends mindfulness, neuroscience, trauma-informed healing practices, and actionable accountability to help you step into the next chapter of your life. And that is one of inner peace, confidence, guided by your intuition and feeling empowered to go after your dreams and, own your unique path. So, some of the results you can expect to get from the Soul Spark Academy include improved mental health, improved physical health and well-being, deep emotional healing, an understanding of your purpose, having more loving and healthy relationships in your life. You might get to see an exciting career change or support in starting your own business, which a lot of people who do the program get. You'll see greater abundance in all areas of your life, as well as the ability to manifest your deepest desires. And you're going to take tools with you that you can use for the rest of your life to, like I said before, be connected to your intuition, move through life with greater inner peace and calm and clarity and empowerment. So if you're interested, you can click the link in the show notes, and there's a link that will take you to the Soul Spark Academy landing page on my website directly, so you can check out all the details and learn how to sign up. You can also just go to kellycollinswellness.com, go to the programs tab, and you'll see it under there. So yeah, hopefully if you're interested, give it a look. Reach out. Feel free to DM me at the Soul Spark Podcast if you want to connect, or you can always send me an email to hello@kellycollinswellness.com. So with that, let's talk about today's topic. The 5 regrets of dying. I know it sounds really morbid, but it's not. It can be, but it's not, because we're already here. This is a topic that I talk about during my masterclass, 3 Steps to Reignite Your Inner Passion, which is actually coming up on August 17th. So if this content really, sparks your interest, if you want to connect with me a bit further, come check it out. It's free. It's on Zoom. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it'll help you to uncover what's keeping you stuck, to learn how to reconnect with your true self, and to live with more passion and purpose. So I'll link that in the show notes as well if you want to come. This is something I talk about in the masterclass, and it's something that I think is really profound. And maybe you think about our mortality, or maybe you don't. Like, I know personally. I used to be kind of obsessed with it, and death really freaked me out. So I would think about it all the time. Now it's something I think about periodically, but not so much from a fear-based place like it used to be, but more from a place like we're going to talk about today. Like, okay, when I get to the end of my life, will I look back knowing that I did everything I could to live a fulfilling life, right? So we're going to talk about that a bit today, right? There's this, I think, misconception that we have, and it kind of, you hear one thing and then another, but you hear a lot that everything's just going to work out, right? And yes, like I believe that in the way that, I am supported and I'm guided, and I know that I have guides and angels that are looking out for my best interest. I know I have my higher self that is there to support me. But when we live our life like, oh, everything will just be fine. It's okay if I just kind of like do this for this long and put things off for tomorrow and this and that, without being really intentional, things are not just going to work out, and the stars don't just magically align. Like, sorry, but that's kind of bullshit, We often put things off for the future without realizing that life is now. Life is the present moment, right? Yes, there are things that we have to save for our future, or we have to work towards to be ready for them in our future. That's the thing with manifestation. We don't have things come in until we are actually ready for them. But how can we live life in the present moment to the fullest? Right? If you want to look back from your deathbed feeling proud of and fulfilled with the life that you lived, you have to take control of your life and live your life now. Tomorrow is not promised, right? You don't want to be laying on your deathbed regretting not writing that book, or taking that trip, or standing up for that cause you believed in, or taking that leap of faith for someone you love, or your dream job, or the place you've been wanting to live your entire life. Again, some of these things we do have to work towards. They can't happen like right now, but we'll oftentimes like put even like working towards things off for the future. So yeah, there's this book, and it's called The Top 5 Regrets of Dying by a woman named Bronnie Ware. And she writes about her time as a hospice nurse caring for people in the last 12 weeks of their life. And the most common regret that she came across was that people wished that they had had the courage to live a life true to themselves, not the life others expected of them. Which is just huge, and I feel like this is just something that I talk about so much, but like so many of us are living our lives and functioning off of our conditioning, and we don't even realize it. And it's not until you wake up and realize like, I am so deeply unhappy. Why? That you can begin to realize like, oh, maybe I'm doing this job that I never even wanted. Maybe I, started this different path in my life and I never even wanted it. I was told by my guardians or my teachers or society that I should be living my life this way. And actually that's not aligned with what my soul is here to do. That's not aligned with what actually fills me up and lights me up. It's usually not until we're like hitting rock bottom or we're in a really low place that we get shaken awake and we realize that we are not living a life true to ourselves. We are living a life that others expect of us, and we can either break out of that and start to live our truth and shake things up, and maybe that's going to look really messy for a while, but it's going to be super worth it, or we're just going to keep going in that same direction and being miserable and unfulfilled. So this is why it's like so important to remember, like, life is now. If there's something you're really desiring in your life, now is the time to begin to go on that trajectory, to start to take that path. Even if it's going to take a while, you are going to feel so much more fulfilled if you know that you are living a life true to yourself. And that does take courage, especially if you're in a completely different path, right? Like, we have to have courage to break the mold and to do what our soul is calling us to do, even if it's scary, even if it doesn't make logical sense. Two of the other most common regrets that people had were, one, that they wish they had had the courage to express their feelings, to be vulnerable, to emote. So many of us are suppressed with our emotions. Like, we're told that we shouldn't feel these types of emotions, or we shouldn't express them in this way or that way. And yeah, that vulnerability also takes courage. We need courage every single day of our lives. And so many of us are terrified to be courageous, to step out of the box, to get uncomfortable. We might see discomfort as a bad thing, but discomfort is amazing. It's everything. With discomfort brings change. With change brings like new positive experiences, or maybe quote unquote negative experiences. But without change, we're stuck. We don't want to be stuck. We want to not be afraid to get messy. We want to not be afraid to tell people how we feel in a kind and compassionate and clear way. And we want to not be afraid to take chances in our life. Because discomfort's not bad. Failure's not bad. Failure is just a redirection, right? Failure gives us wisdom and knowledge. And the more we fail and the less we like attach to failure as a bad thing, the more empowered we become. The other common regret was that people wish that they had let themselves be happier. And I feel like this one just, it really goes back to those other two, like, one, are you allowing yourself to live a life that is true to yourself? Because if you're not going to be happy. And happiness isn't like about fleeting, instant gratification happiness. Happiness is fulfillment. That's what I believe. Like, I believe when we think, oh, I want to be happy, we're actually thinking, oh, I want to be fulfilled. Because we can't be happy all the time. If we were happy all the time, that's toxic positivity. Happiness is about feeling fulfilled and knowing that you are living your life in alignment with your deep desires, with your true self. It's also about contentment, being content with what you have, being grateful for what you have, being present in your life so that you can be content. So, don't let yourself go your whole life only to reach your deathbed full of regrets, right? I want you guys, like, this is my message. I want you to live a life that's unique, that's true to yourself. And maybe that means it's aligned with how you were brought up. Maybe it doesn't. And you know what? Only you know that answer. And it can be really scary if you realize, like, I have a lot to do to start living a life that's in alignment with my actual true self. If you feel that way, it's okay. Just take one step at a time, one area of your life at a time. Get support. Do my coaching program if you want, or get a therapist, or work with another coach, or go to yoga classes, go to hypnotherapy. Don't be afraid to ask for help and to get support, to read, to learn, to listen to podcasts like this, all of that good stuff, because that can help you to continue to expand your mind, to expand the field of possibilities that you see is out there for you, and to feel empowered to Be courageous and take those steps to live a life that's true to yourself. Alrighty, that sound means that it's time for this week's segment of Soul Sparked. This one comes from Jenny, who's one of my past Soul Spark Academy client goddesses. And she says, since doing the Soul Spark Academy, I've become more open to trying new things. In the past, I didn't think I was enough, so I would sit back, overthink things, and let opportunities pass me by. Now I'm more confident in myself and say yes to things that truly do feel right. Now I know that I am enough, and Soul Spark opened up the door for me to start seeing that. Kelly is so supportive. She's incredibly optimistic and believes in you. Her free spirit and genuine spirit help you to believe in yourself. The results from Soul Spark are ongoing, and I would 100% recommend this to anyone who wants to kickstart your journey to a more full life. Oh, thank you, Jenny. I love you. So proud of all that she's done since we started working together, and before that, of course. So thanks again, Jenny. And if you are interested in getting some of Jenny's results, go ahead and go to kellycollinswellness.com. Click the programs tab and click on the Soul Spark Academy. You can also check out one-on-one coaching. I will also link that in the show notes for you guys to check it out. All right, let's get back to the episode. So yeah, I want you to just remember that it's so important to take the time to fully understand yourself, because if you don't, you won't know what you want. You won't know what path you want to take instead of the one you're currently on, right? If you don't know what lights you up and sparks your joy and fulfills you, then you're not going to be able to know which path to start to traverse on, right? And say maybe you do know what you want, but if you haven't done the healing you need to do to feel empowered enough to go after what you want, you still might stay stuck, and there's certain areas of our life that are just harder for us to get out of than others. And that's super normal. And there's no shame in that. Like, I have mine. I definitely believe that there are karmic lessons tied to that. But, there is a reason why we all are where we currently are. And there's a reason why, if we're not where we want to be, there's a reason why we're not where we want to be. And we might have to do some healing to do that, and know that healing is this lifelong journey. It's not like something you do and then it's over, right? But you have to start that process, because if you don't, you might have limiting beliefs that are in your subconscious mind that are keeping you in patterns that are not filling you up, right? Keeping you in patterns that are holding you back from living out your true potential. So take the time and discover yourself now. I mean, you're literally here. So, I think you're kind of already doing that, but I just want to encourage you to continue to practice self-study and look within, and get to the end of your life, whenever that is, knowing that you lived a life true to yourself. That is all that I want for you, because if you're living a life true to yourself, you're doing things that light you up. You're sharing your gifts with the world. You're making the world a better place. And you are, leaving this human experience with all the lessons that you could ever need. So I want you guys to grab a journal, or if you don't have a journal, you can do this in the notes in your phone. And I want you to write down these questions, and then you can come back to them later, or you can fill them out right now. Okay. Obviously, if you're driving, come back to this later when you're in a safe space to write these prompts down and to reflect on these journaling prompts. Okay. So step 1, action step 1. Okay. Journal prompt number 1. Look at your life. Are you living courageously? Are you facing your fears? Are you constantly ignoring your gut and doing things you don't want to do? So that's the first one. Are you living courageously? Right? Are you facing your fears? Are you ignoring your gut feelings, your intuition, and doing things you don't want to do? take a big look at your life, at the different areas of your life, and just reflect. All right. Question number 2. Look at how you express yourself. Do you hold yourself back from speaking your wants, needs, and truth out of fear of judgment or conflict? Do you allow yourself to express your needs? And maybe you do in some areas, like maybe you do at work, but maybe you don't in your partnership. Okay. Or maybe you notice that in many areas of your life, you don't express your needs. Or maybe you do notice that you express your needs. Or maybe you notice that you maybe overexpress your needs and need to sit with them a little bit more on your own. So look at how you express yourself and reflect on that. All right, the last one is to look at your happiness /fulfillment /contentment level. Okay, are you allowing yourself to be happy? Do you feel guilt when you do things that bring you joy? Do you feel guilt when you do things that bring you pleasure? Like maybe going to get a pedicure, right? Are you allowing yourself to stay stuck in situations that aren't serving you? What are your boundaries? And how do you support your joy and your creativity and your fulfillment? So look at your happiness level. Do you allow yourself to be happy, or do you feel guilt about it? Do you allow yourself to stay stuck in situations that aren't serving you? And what are your boundaries? Do you have boundaries? Are there boundaries you need to have? And how do you support your kind of joy and your creative process on a regular basis? All right, my loves. So that's it. Take time with those. If you don't have time right now, write them down, come back to them in the evening or tomorrow morning, and let yourself, have a good amount of time. Maybe light a candle, get comfy, and reflect. And just notice what comes up. And from there, remember, just one step at a time. Get support where you need it, and have patience and compassion for yourself with every step of the way. All right, sending you so much love. If you know anyone who could benefit from hearing this podcast, please do share it with them. You can share it on Instagram and tag me at the Soul Spark Podcast. And of course, if you haven't already, please go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, rate and review the show. If you could give it 5 stars, it means the world to me, and it helps me to just keep this show growing and going forever and ever, or, until it's time to maybe start another podcast. Who knows? But I want to keep this one going for a long time. So thanks for being here. Sending you lots of love. Take care. Namaste.